Today we're gonna be talking about Deshaun Watson and his sexual assault accusations. Allegedly, he sexually assaulted 24 people, and we're gonna tie that in with mental health, maybe some social norms, and like trauma. I think it's still gonna be interesting today. What you think?
Yeah, for real. I mean, there's so many things you could talk about. You could talk about the happy ending thing, just like, how masseuses are portrayed. Did that feed into his ideologies or his behavior? Is that a justification? No.
It's not. You know what? The first time I heard about this story, it's like my homie called me up. He said, "Hey, I don't think you're a respectable woman."
What?
He's like, "Have you heard about the Browns football player in the news?" I'm like, "No, not really. Like, what's going on?" He was just like, "Well, Deshaun Watson just got signed with the Browns for $230 million for a 5-year contract." I'm like, "All right, cool, boring, man stuff."
Right.
I said, now get to the meat and potatoes. He said he sexually assaulted. Well, he didn't even say sexually assaulted. He said he paid 24 women $5,000 to nut on their hands, their feet, or face. And he said, now, is that sexual assault? I said, wait, didn't women take the check and cash it? He said, that's what the fuck I'm talking about. I'm like, well, shit, a service was met.
Right.
So it was one particular case though where the woman, I don't know, I think she's like the four runner. Like she did take the $5,000, but when he first did it, she told the boss. The boss was just like, do the shit anyway. So she did it again and got money for it again, and told the boss like, I really don't want to do this. And about the third time she quit. So my thing is, you should sue the agency you work at, not the individual, or both. I feel like you can't not sue the company that the boss you told him was a complaint and then he didn't do anything.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. And then you know what? Okay, so the information that I saw, and the crazy part about this whole case is that the people that have been bringing it up to me are men. Men at the barbershop want to talk about it. When I took my boys to get their haircuts, men at my job, men are bringing up this. Men, they want to have this conversation.
Yeah, honestly, maybe they trying to nut on women. I feel like, are you asking the loophole for nutting on women's faces? Don't do it. I mean, it's sexual assault when it's unwanted,
Right.
right? So, did you cash the check though?
That's my
Right.
thing. So he settled 20 cases, but it's four of them that's still undecided. So I don't know. I'm reading that like, okay, 20 chicks just wanted the money and didn't want to talk about it in open court. And four chicks don't want the money. They just want justice. So I'm like, well, I'll probably believe them before I believe the chicks who settle for money.
I feel like it's gonna be a hard case because they're gonna ask them, "Did you cash the check?" If you was traumatized and this was unwanted, why did you do it 3 times? I get that. But I just felt like that $5,000 was nothing. They were just like, oh, he signed for millions. Let's run that check up. Let's run that check up. I feel like, and I'm not discounting because I wasn't there. I don't know what happened. I gotta say that because obviously we're on live, right? I wasn't there, and I am definitely women's rights advocate. But my part is, did you cash that check though? You didn't want to do it, but you did it 3 times.
Yeah. And it's just like, okay, so you're a masseuse, all right? Mullah Mitch is like, oh yeah, it's not. What's this? They took the money and did the job. But my thing is like, so this is the thing. Like, you show up for a massage. Now, this is one lady. She said he showed up for his massage in a robe with absolutely nothing up under it and immediately whipped his dick out. Like, you didn't even come there to pretend like you was getting a massage. You came there for sex, so why not buy sex? Why are you
And wait,
paying
he didn't rape
masseuse?
him. He just beat his dick. I mean, let me say he masturbated on him.
Allegedly.
Yeah. So the door wasn't right there.
Right. So he showed up for a sexual experience. You don't want a sexual experience. So just say, all right, no, your appointment is canceled. You're done. Get out.
My thing is, I want to add on the repeat offender. Like, okay, cool. If you feel, I feel like, because we can't discount some women are not as stern or assertive when it comes to things like that. So my thing is the people who came repeatedly, particularly the forward runner who did it 3 times.
Right. Right.
So some women can't say no, right?
Because
So
she's working for an agency and the agency is telling her to do it.
right. So
I mean, look, I work in a hospital and a dude told me straight up, like, I can't shit unless you stick your finger in my ass. Do you think I did it? No.
did you?
I did not. Not me. Maybe somebody else, but not me. I said, no, I'm not comfortable with that. So, I mean, we can
That
give you a
is crazy.
suppository. We can give you, a laxative or whatever, but I'm not sticking my finger in your ass.
Yo, that is bold.
And I'm in a hospital. And one of the nurses actually told another worker, like, oh, yeah, just do it.
What? No.
Like, shit, bitch, you better do it because I ain't doing it.
No, you know what? That's a hospital procedure I'm not qualified for.
Right. That's not on my...
I didn't get trained to be doing that.
That's out of the parameters of my job description.
That is ridiculous. A couple of the people were saying something. Some, I can't read.
You stupid.
So it's the guy with the M. Mullah Mitch. And he wrote something. Okay, I can't pull it up. Can you pull it up?
Mullah. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm going to scroll up. He was just like, I feel if you didn't force none of them, it's no case. They took the money and they did the job. He said it's not okay. I think he said it's not okay, when I was talking about him showing up naked, whipping his dick out. And I agree, that's not okay. Dang, all these niggas, is these your niggas?
Oh my, this young lady is crazy.
Are these your guys? Wow. I am impressed. Jeez.
No, girl, you crazy as hell. Anywho, is my lady in there? I'm a way better.
Oh, okay. We can say hey to her.
Yeah.
No, but hello, guys. I'm just joking.
Anywho, we need to get. I'm surprised Nance is not in here. We need to get a male perspective.
And somebody at the barbershop, look, he brought up a point. He was like, well, maybe he didn't want to pay for a sex worker for sex because he's not sure what she has.
I just feel like, let's be honest, if you're making that kind of money, you shouldn't be irresponsible like that. There are sex workers, and you have, if you spending $5,000 anyway, from what I understand, and I don't know the prices. I don't know if some of you guys know the prices for these prostitutes, but I'm thinking, from what I can tell from Instagram, it's a hot $40. One second.
Oh, somebody raising their hand. You want to come up here, sir? See, now I can't read. Comanian 23.
Comanion. What is
no,
that?
see, that was even worse. Oh my God, please don't.
Who are you talking about? I think you're talking about that's a girl. Let me see.
I can't see from the picture. It's too tiny.
Yeah, that's a young lady.
Oh, my bad.
She does give very masculine energy. You know my type.
No, I really just couldn't see because the picture was super tiny. And I don't have on my glasses right now. But let me put my glasses on so I can see, so I don't offend anybody. I mean, any more people.
Get my pronouns
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so from a mental health professional point of view, what would explain these women's behavior in going back and letting this person abuse them more than once?
Interesting. Interesting. You're gonna ask me that question. She's wild. I was preparing for coping skills and the trauma of sexual assault. I don't know. You never know someone's circumstances and what their pockets looking like. And if we gonna talk about Maslow hierarchy of needs, 1 second.
I just cannot.
My child keep coming to the door. So I feel like you never know what someone's circumstances is and if they needed the money or not. That can be a driving factor. Um, you know if they was intimidated or we don't know. From what I read, is he made them sign non-disclosure paperwork.
So how are they
So
suing him?
shit must be a limitation on it because apparently he did this shit for 17 months. He had 66 massage therapists in 17 months. I was about to tell you, girl, whatever filter that was, bitch, you look like a vampire.
Don't it? Look how it got my eyes looking. I think it's because of
Girl, you over here looking, you giving storm. You're giving very much storm in the face.
I am. With this white hair. Stupid.
And that's my take on it. The repeaters, I have no clue. That's interesting because it's not like he's the more of like the aggressor in the sense like he forced this to occur, and he was holding these women down. It sounds like they was rubbing on his body and he was masturbating, ejaculating on them. I don't know why they wouldn't say no. I wasn't in the room. What I looked up when I did my research today, when it comes to like sexual violence in their lifetime, it was like more than one in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience sexual violence. Wait, I was stuck about the men part. Did you know that?
If you ever been on TikTok, it's not surprising.
Not if you ever been on TikTok, like I'm a TikTok person. Jesus Christ. I don't watch that.
I'm just saying, like, the sexualization of men is just up there. Crazy. It's like, you know how Instagram women, make like money and fame off of like their looks and their clothes, and they get all these contracts, blah blah blah. I think it's like the same thing on TikTok. Like a lot of men over sexualize themselves, for views and their accounts and stuff. So, and it works because women are into it. So, I can see it.
That's crazy.
What are you reading?
Sexual abuse is the most underreported crime. It is estimated that only about 1/3 or 37% of survivors report crimes to authority. So it kind of makes sense why everybody. So apparently, after the HBO special, it was 2 women talking about like the sexual assault. That's when all the rest of the women kind of jumped on the bandwagon. I mean, I feel like there has to be some validity there, right? I think there's some. I think you just can't do what you want to women because you have money and throwing money at them. If they had a verbal agreement, so this is the part where I'm saying the people who's the repeat people that he was ejaculating on, like I have an issue with them. But like, if you had a agreement that I'm about to do this while you do this, like why I massage you, don't try to come out for money now, right? But the ones he just did stuff and they could have left. We don't know why they froze up. We don't know their trauma history. Maybe this had happened to them before. They didn't know how to react. Stuff that happens to you I remember the first time I experienced racism. Like I'm loud and I'm like all in your face kind of person, and I didn't know how to respond to that. I kind of just looked and was froze and I walked away, right? So we don't know people trauma responses. What isn't it 3? There's like flight, fight, and freeze. So it sounds like a lot of them just freeze.
I know one of the young ladies was saying that Well, what happened was he had came over, at their they had an appointment for a massage. Now they had no previous conversation about anything sexual or anything, so it was just supposed to be a massage. So he came in, whatever, she gave him a towel to cover up his lower half. He didn't want to wear like the large size towel, and he took like a little hand towel and like covered up, his junk or whatever. And, she kind of went back and forth with him about it, but she was just like, okay, fine, whatever. So then she's giving him the massage, and then she's moving down to his lower abdomen or whatever. And he's like, go lower. So she goes lower. So then he's like, go lower, and, eventually her hand ended up on his penis. And she said that she definitely froze or whatever, and she definitely was just like kind of just doing what he wanted her to do or whatever. But after the experience, she was really upset about it. And but she texted him, and he texted her back saying, oh, that's not like me, I don't usually do stuff like that, I apologize if I made you feel uncomfortable. Just kind of like acting like this isn't something that he's done before, or like it was out of character. You know what I mean? Just kind of trying to manipulate her into getting another session, and she did end up booking him again. Actually, now I don't know what happened the second time because I didn't get through the whole video, but that was part of her testimony.
Wait, this the gray area for like. Wait, it's not even a gray. I'm confused. If I'm doing a session, and I mean, isn't that common sense? Like, if he go lower, why wouldn't someone just be like, no, I ain't doing that? Why, if it was so traumatizing, right? Why book another session?
I don't know. I guess she believed what he said. Oh, that's out of character. I'm sorry. That's not gonna
But
happen again.
you already got sexually assaulted at this point. I mean, apparently you beat his private areas.
Right.
So somebody wrote she knew what her job was, so go lower. I'm not disagreeing. So maybe she thought it was gonna be like, I feel like in the sense of manipulation, maybe she thought a relationship was gonna come from it. That not like that's the only way I'm thinking. Like she texted him, because why text him? Who booked the massages? But wasn't it his agent? Like, what would be the purpose of contacting him like over the phone? Like,
I don't know, but they have like different. They have transcripts of conversations between him and some of the
did you
masseuse.
read it?
No, I didn't read that part. I didn't get through the whole interview. It's a bunch of interviews with some of the victims.
I don't know. It was on the Breakfast Club, and DJ Envy asked Yee like her take on it. Like, do you think the women's really getting was sexually assault, or was they completing a service? It's just it's quite interesting. I don't know. Cause ain't no type of manipulation for me to feel like I got assaulted the first time and then book another session. I feel like there has to be some type of gain in it. Like she was aware of some type of gain, and I feel like the same way with the Bill Cosby shit. I feel like them girls knew they was getting drugs back in the 80s and shit, and 70s and shit. They knew they was getting drugs because Bill Cosby admitted, like, yeah, I gave him drugs, but I asked him, you want some drugs? And the girl said, yeah. It's the whole casting couch thing. Thank you. It was the whole casting couch shit. Like, I feel like and I'm not saying like these men are not wrong. Now, this is the part when I'm getting. I feel like if you're lying to get sex, you should be in trouble. That should be a crime. I don't give a fuck. Now, I think he promised these women fame and stuff, and like this ain't happen. And I think this football player probably promised love and marriage, and this didn't happen. Because how can you?
I want to go that far. You don't even have to say all that to a chick to manipulate them. It doesn't take that much.
We do not sound like women advocates right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm sorry. I apologize. That was kind of rude, but I feel like it's truth to it. You don't have to promise a bitch that much to get sex. So I don't see why he went through all of that. Like I said. You know, if you wanted to pay somebody for sex, pay somebody for sex. That way, you showing up knowing that she already know what you want. So then that's what you coming to get. Now, I do have a theory as to why he targeted masseuse for sexual encounters, whether it was intercourse or just like allegedly, you know, pleasuring himself and ejaculating on them. The only thing that makes sense to me is he was looking for victims. Maybe he wanted the power of being able to manipulate somebody into doing something that they did not want to do. That's the only reason I could think of why he wouldn't have paid for a sexual experience.
Well, I think you said it earlier though. I feel like it's the cliche. It's like all how the like taboo saying that like strippers fuck for money. Like it's a cliche that like happy endings at massage parlors occur. So I think it's the whole cliche thing, and he probably experienced it before and just probably thought it happens everywhere.
But that just seems so stupid and so wrong.
I,
Like it's
do he
kind of
look
like
right
that.
though?
I don't know. I can't really look at a person and really tell. He don't look. I don't know. People who victimize other people don't always look like it either. So
No, you're right. You're right. You're right. But like, wasn't these licensed massage therapists like they went to school?
I don't know. There's so many of them. I only seen a few, and the ones that I seen were, but I don't know if all of them were. So I don't want to make a general statement about that because I'm not sure.
And maybe you got some truth to it. Maybe it started off and I don't know. So I mean, we don't know because it's apparently it was 66 masseuses and
Hey,
24 they say MFers be sick and trying to live out their fantasies.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna disagree with that. But he did this for 17 months. It was 66 masseuses and 24 people came for it.
And then there's a such thing as buyer's remorse. So
That's what I feel. That
buyer's remorse.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And I think honestly that shit only coming out now because the trade, and he's getting 230 million. And I think bitches sat back like that dude only gave me $5,000. Huh.
I can get more than that. That's terrible. See, now you doing it. Now you don't sound like a women advocate.
Right. Gotta do better. Gotta do better.
We too mannish. Why we sound like two men to having this conversation?
Like we told you, like, yeah, them bitches wanted to do it. Yeah.
Right. That bitch wanted money.
It's a recession out here. Jesus Christ. I think this is some shit my homeboy said. He said, now, if I was a masseuse and I'm massaging this man and his sperm happened to touch me and he give me $5,000, he was like, I don't think next time he come on be like, no, don't give me that $5,000. You just want to nut by my hand. I don't know. So I don't know. $5,000 is a lot of money to some people. So
For sure. I mean, okay, I was on TikTok earlier today, right?
uh-huh.
This girl was like, if you need money, buy a pack of underwear for $25 and sell each pair for $25. Period. So it's this kind of mentality where you can kind of prey on the desires of men to get money. And I feel like some of these women might be genuine, but not all of them. That's me. At the end of the day, some of them are telling the truth. Some of them are victims, but not all of them.
I'm not gonna comment on that. If someone say they're a victim, I wholeheartedly feel like if they're being genuine, they are victims.
So even if they consent, even if they was like, okay, so he's gonna pay me this money, and he's gonna ejaculate on me, so she's a victim.
This is what I can say. So if it was like sexual assault, like penetration, and a woman's having sex with a man in the middle of sex, and the woman was just like, I don't want to do this no more. Is it still rape?
Yeah.
So maybe we don't know the stories of all these people. So maybe it started and a lot of women was just like, you know what? I don't really want to do this. And he was just like, well, here's some money. I'm so sorry. Don't tell nobody. He signed this disclosure. And now that he's making more money, the girls could have been like, hey, that 5 bands and shut up. That's not good enough for me. So
I'm gonna need more. Gotcha.
So who knows? Who knows? Um,
I've never been. Let me think. Have I ever been in a situation where somebody was pushing my boundaries and not respecting it sexually? Yes. Yes, I have. Yes, I have. And I definitely said no. And I definitely pushed them away, went to a safe place, and called somebody that I trusted to come and sit with me or to stay with me until I felt safe again. So that was what I did. Um, so yeah, I mean, I can definitely see myself in that situation, but mine is I've never frozen up. It's always been fight or flight for me personally. I know that's not the same thing for everybody else. So that's just my experience. So I can't see myself going to the point that they got to, like actually going through the whole experience, and then afterwards, dealing with that mental trauma of the going through the entire experience without standing up for yourself, without running, without trying to fight, or whatever the case may be.
You know what? So everybody trauma responses is different because this is. Hold on 1 second. No, thank you. No, thank you. Okay, what I was saying. So if it was like penetration, sexual assault, right? I feel like in those circumstances, sometimes women don't want to feel like a victim, and they allow repeat offenders due to them feeling like they are in control. So that's what I'm like. This part, when it comes to sexual assault, is definitely a gray area, and everybody trauma responses is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's to say like he forced ejaculation on somebody, and the one was just like, damn, it's hard to process. So I'm gonna just book again and then pay for it. You know what I'm saying? He did this shit already. Like, we don't know what these women was thinking, and it don't make it less of sexual assault. So I don't know. I mean, shit. If 24 women said he did some crazy shit, maybe he did the shit. Like, and how they like respond is just on how they process trauma. And I'm not saying everybody is right, everybody is wrong. I feel like it's a mixed bag of shit, you know. But shit, sometimes people will get assaulted and allow their abuser to do it again just to feel like they had some type of power or control.
Right. Especially when you add in the money element of it. I
Right.
think. But then that plays into, okay, now I'm being a hypocrite because now I'm thinking like, okay, so then it was that thing I was saying I hate that people do. Just because you feel that way doesn't make it true. So let's just go based on how they felt, whether they got money or not, whatever. If they felt like he was assaulting them, then, they're justified in that.
Yeah. It's the Me Too culture. I mean, I enjoy that women are feeling empowered and able to speak up for themselves. I mean, like I'm a woman, like ourselves. So
Is that your pronoun? She, her?
this bitch, this bitch, this bitch. It's very much she today, very much.
Today?
But now the
Okay.
people watching like, oh wait, shit, is that a man? Is that a man?
I'm just joking.
You know what? Check my Instagram while you there. Like some pictures. I was clearly pregnant on there. So Jesus Christ.
So, okay. So now we got into what kind of mental state do you have to be in to, during these situations that will cause you to do it more than once, or how you would allow it to happen? What would you suggest they do going forward and trying to heal from a situation like this? Do you think they could continue to be in their profession?
First thing I have to, I feel like if it's traumatizing as they say, right? I will always say seek therapy, right? And if and in therapy, I mean, there's this article I was reading is from Everyday Health, and it was for sexually assault victims. So one of the things they were reporting is turn off news and social media. And it says also lean on your support system. I think it's important to have to have a good mental health overall, like, status, or the word ain't status, I couldn't think of the word to say. I'm just say
Hey,
overall mental
Diddy,
health.
we are way off our usual, but thank you for joining us.
I feel like you gotta have a support system in everything you do. I feel like using grounding techniques. So grounding techniques consists of like deep breathing. Anytime I'm feeling overwhelmed, I take a one big deep breath and I release slowly and I count to 4. I'll be like 1, 2, 3, 4, and I ground myself. I make sure my feet is planted on the ground because sometimes you can disassociate. And just think of your happy place. Focus on positive thoughts. Even like aromatherapy, like lighting candles and like just being in a safe place. Practice mindfulness and meditation. I meditate all the time. I use prayer for meditation as well. I feel like that keeps can keep a survivor going. Um, um, it says avoid drugs and alcohol. I think a lot of times you see that with substance abuse. They become a victim and they use substances to cope with their trauma instead of trying to process their trauma.
Right.
Um, so I use a couple of those things. I am a sexual assault victim, survivor. I mean, and I feel like it took about a year to get out my dark place. I think grounding works, meditation works, having new focus. I think sometimes victims kind of blame themselves for being victimized, and that's what I'm like. I didn't want the show to just like focus on, like, I feel like there's some bullshit in there, but I feel like there's also some truth in there, right? So I'm kind of on both sides of things, because I definitely feel, in particularly, and I don't want to like call people out, like, but like white women use their white power to manipulate situations. Um, so I'm on a fence. They probably didn't get what they wanted and wanted more. But yeah, I'm not gonna put that to a particular race, but like that do occur, and this is a black NFL player. We seen that shit with Kobe and him fucking the what was the waitress or whatever.
I think it was a maid.
Made like get your husband.
I can't do nothing with him. And like I told him earlier today, I ain't complaining because I ain't going nowhere. So fuck it. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different, like you said, social norms and just kind of things that are expected, things that warp people's perception of certain things. And all of those things are taken into account when looking at cases like this.
Yeah. I was reading this article for people who are offenders, right? The coping
Mm-hmm.
techniques for that. Because I remember when I was doing counseling in the inner city, I had a lot of offenders as my clients. And you hear some shit. You hear some shit. And like I had one particular offender, he raped his daughter. And I was just like, so when we was processing what happened, he said, I take full accountability for what I did. He was just like, when I smoke crack, I just go in my daughter's room. And so when we talked about what's triggers of him, like he can't be around, because it wasn't that kids that made him offend his drug use. So we can't be around drug use. We can't be around people who do drugs because that's gonna be a trigger. I mean, anywhere to go, he couldn't be around kids, regardless of the fact. Um,
He said it was drugs that made him
yeah,
do.
yeah. So anytime he smoked crack, he offended. So this was talking about avoidance focus, avoiding techniques to escape or avoid a problem. And I was like, it says either using distractive activities like watching TV. This says watching TV or eating.
Oh no. That would
or
bring other mental health problems.
or social diversion, and that's the part I told him not to use. Like the avoidance part is like, if kids is your trigger, do not be around kids, do not be around drugs, do not be around, like if it's certain holidays like Halloween, I'd be like, don't go at your house around Halloween. There's actually like for child offenders, there's like drugs they can take to make them impotent. You know, if Deshaun Watson feels like he has a sexual disorder, he can use drugs like that to make him unable to even get hard. So it's hard to offend if your penis don't work right. It says coping strategies play major roles with
I had no clue
well-being.
that was a thing. So that's something. It's like a prescription, and you get it from
Yeah.
a doctor,
hmm
like a medical doctor, or it has to be a psychologist.
Psychiatrist, psychologist, uh, 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 a medical doctor. The funny part is medical doctors can prescribe psychotropic drugs as well. It's just like you should always get after your doctor. So even when you got depression, your doctor, your medical doctor, your PCP can prescribe you antidepressants, but they will always I'm stuttering so hard today, y'all. They will always recommend you go see a psychiatrist because that prescription's only gonna last so long. You got to be evaluated. So yeah, so your medical doctor can, but you will have to always go get evaluated to maintain that prescription.
So it's medication that you take so that you're impotent.
Yes.
That's crazy. I did not know. I did not know that that was a thing that some people had to do. I wonder if that's ever been like a condition of somebody's parole. Like,
What do
we'll
you
let you
mean?
go out on we'll let you go on we'll let you go out on parole, but you gotta take this medication that makes you impotent. And then you gotta check in, make sure you're taking your make sure you're taking your medication.
You know what? I seen. So when it comes, so I was a forensic case manager for Frontline Services, which is a mental health facility, and there's a lot of conditions because that's the gray area. So usually, based on parole, right? It says client must follow all recommendations from mental health providers. So that's the gray area. So like I had one, he was bipolar with psychotic features, which means everybody know what bipolar is, but psychotic features mean he had a constant delusion that, man, he thought he was this big I'm sorry, y'all. So he thought he was this big drug dealer, and the drug dealers was killing I'm sorry. The drug dealers was kidnapped his wife. They got a divorce, y'all, but kidnapped his wife and kept uh trying to kidnap him or whatever. So that was the constant delusion that he had. And when I talk about, like, so we as a forensic caseworker, we constant in contact with his probation officer to make sure that he is following the probation guidelines, and we put that in our treatment plan and we send it over to his probation officer. So these people are on the mental health docket, right? So it's not like they can test. Like, I mean, they could. The state hospital can test if he's taking his drugs. Taking his medication or not. But we report it because we know if he's taking the medications because it's part of the our pharmacy. Like I can double check everything, and half the time they wasn't taking it and they end up going back to prison. But yeah, it can be a condition. And then sometimes it don't matter. I got one client that was released, and he was like, "It's my right not to take medications. Y'all say I'm schizophrenic. I'm not schizophrenic. Like you're clearly schizophrenic, but but definitely can be a condition onto probation."
Wow. Okay. Well, this is uncensored therapy, people. We just having a conversation.
Well, if you just tuned in, this is Uncensored Therapy with a 3. Our discussion was about Deshaun Watson and his sexual assault cases. And we were just tying in like mental health factors such as sexual trauma, coping skills, offenders' coping skills, and like what would make somebody allow themselves to be reoffended, and what would make we didn't dislike. Why would you think he's like offending? Like, why do you think he is constantly doing this?
I think the person who said, "Oh yeah, he's fulfilling his sick fantasy," is one of the reasons why. And then there's my theory is that he intentionally was looking for victims. That's why he wouldn't pay for somebody in the sex industry to do a sex act or whatever. Um, so those are just two of the theories that I agree with.
I think those are some interesting theories. Especially like the victimization set. Like, he might be a narcissist, and I know we use narcissists a lot, but he might be a narcissist.
Like, okay, so you paying for somebody to do a sexual act. Like, you'll tell them, okay, this is what I want to do to you. You get her, like, okay, cool, this is how much it's going to cost, and you pay the money, then you show up at the time and place, and then you just do what you want to do. But how do you know if you're getting, like, the reaction that you want? How do you know,
Right.
like, if she's into it? Maybe that's not what you're looking for. Maybe you're looking for a woman to be scared and uncomfortable and not okay with the situation. Like, that's where my mind is going. Why he would keep doing it? Why
Yeah.
would he with somebody who's already consenting?
I do. You know what? I think that's very interesting point of view, and I'm not going to disagree with that, because he could have just, because with all that money, he could have just paid a hoe off. I'm pretty sure a lot of bitches out of, and he wasn't an ugly man. Like, he's not ugly, far from it. So you could have just got a prostitute or went on Backpage, paid a little hot $40, and had a woman like, yeah, I do it, daddy. You're right. He wanted the fearful reaction. Like, I think that's a great inference. Like, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's just playing into your theory of him being a narcissist. He was looking to get something from these women that he wouldn't get from a woman that he was paying to do the thing that he wanted to do to them.
I'm not going to disagree. Well, thank y'all for tuning in for our little rant. Um, our
Yeah,
third
it'll be interesting to see how it's going to play out because it's not over.
is well, shit. He got 4 more cases. And I mean, we got to think about the 20 is going to be dismissed, so it's going to be like it never happened. So, oh well, we should report back and see how things go. We can always discuss it later on. Um, so hey guys, just DM us. Tell us some topics you want us to talk about. I know today we did something a little bit different. I mean, besides it was close to our Will Smith discussion. Um, we did
Wow, that
headliner.
was risking. Was that risking it all? That discussion?
Yeah, it was close to that because it's focused on we focused on a particular topic, and we kind of processed it, and we
But that
processed it
was
from.
impulsive. This was premeditated.
Mm.
Like impulse control.
Yes, you're right. But I was talking about how the topic we just did the topic like this, and for
Oh.
people to just give,
Oh, okay.
and for people to
I'm
just give us
overthinking it, my
ideas.
bad. I'm overthinking it.
she
Oops.
she was thinking hard, guys. She the brains.
Oh, whatever.
Well, thank y'all for coming. I think this was a great show. I'm always happy to see people to show their faces. Um, do you have any last thoughts?
Um, my thing is, I will always see them as being. I always have respect for these women, just for the simple fact that they came forward and they're willing to go online and talk about their experiences, knowing that people are going to attack them. That's brave. especially nowadays when all people do is get attacked on social media for stuff that they're doing on a regular basis. So the fact that they came out of their comfort zone and they came into the spotlight and they're talking about their experiences, you know, I have to applaud them for that, regardless of anything else.
And just to piggyback off you, I definitely agree. I think I'm sure there's what is the saying? There's always three sides of the story: their side, the other person's side, and the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like we really can't speak on what these women experience and why they did the things they did. But I think we can't come to a consensus. I cons-
Consensus.
consensus. That
Consensus.
that Deshaun was definitely a predator. Like regardless, if he paid these women or not,
Mm-hmm.
he was definitely a predator and he preyed on it. And that has something to do with like toxic masculinity. If I throw money at this bitch, she gonna let me do what I want. And
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't the case for everybody. Maybe it was a case for some, but that wasn't the case for everybody. So what I want everybody just to take away from this shit, like we can't judge a book, right? We can't just choose a side because this man has money, right? And these women knew what they're doing. I'm gonna say not all of them did, like so we don't know what their side or what their life is like and why things happen or how they handle trauma, like their trauma responses. So let's just not like. I hate when people victim blame. Let the shit just play out and let's just meditate and send positive vibes to everyone.
Okay, Charlemagne. Sending positive energy. I'm sending positive energy to all of these ladies in this situation. And I'm also sending positive energy to him so that he gets the help that he needs. There you go.
Period. 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 Well, again, this is uncensored therapy with a three.
Mm-hmm.
Our third counterpart is taking a hiatus.
Hiatus.
Hiatus. Hiatus.
Hiatus.
Hiatus.
Right.
Hey, a sabbatical.
There you go.
And he will be back. He just has to study for his exam to become a therapist. So we're gonna root for him. We're gonna send him positive vibes as well. It's the
Right.
same shit I should be doing and studying for my exam, and I'm not doing it. So just DM me and force me to do my work, guys.
Okay. All right. Join us next time.
Bye.
Her angel eyes saw the good in many days.